Oh my god. Do you consider games like this any more good gacha games? So I'm doing a Let's Argue video about gacha games. Please put all your hot takes down below. I will be recording over this weekend. It can be about any gacha or just gaming in general. WUWA's obsession with the master love makes the characters and story feel worthless. Master love is a genre in which that the main character is the master and the other characters are the slaves. That love the main character. CN's side is obsessed with it. WUWA seems to be going that route, and it makes me really hard to not drop the game because I look at the characters and know they will not develop. They won't become independent of Rover. They will stagnate and feel awful as time goes on, and I'm kind of over it. I don't even do the companion stories anymore. I hate the direction they will inevitably go. No amount of rewards can entice me to sit through this garbage. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? I think he's going a little too hard. I think he burnt the food because I believe there is some validity to this, but I want to see what the reply said. Breach, I was hoping Camilla was going to be different, but then I did the story quest and it's like, I can't with this. Legit might have to put this game down. I'm going to be honest with you. I will say, first of all, if you enjoy WUWA, let me take a step back. Me personally, I do not play gacha games for stories. I feel like if you were playing WUWA for the story, not that the story is bad, but it's really nothing special. So the fact that I think is your biggest gripe of the video game, you could just genuinely hit the skip button. I definitely understand their point of view. I think the quote unquote Rover being the savior end all be all can get very tiring. And I hope in 2.0 that is not what we're going with. I'm very concerned that this might actually happen though. I think we just have to wait for 2.0. I think you could be cautious about the way the characters interact in the main storyline, but I think if we wait for 2.0, we'll see what happens. The new WUWA direction for 2.0 is a disaster for what WUWA is. What made the world special was heavy themes. See, I hate this. I hate this take. I don't have to read the whole thing, and I hate this. I think this is horrible. I think this is doom posting, and I'm sure this person feels this way, but I think this is a very, very bad take and just is very disingenuous to what we have gotten in the video game and the little mini teaser that we have gotten. I really don't like this. I think it's such a silly take. What made the world special was heavy themes of survival, sacrifice, tacit discord threats, risky resonance powers, Jinsei, overclocked. Instead, we got prosperous language, I can't read. Extravagant city folk with the focus on entertainment and pleasure. Mask, fun, canes, cutesy, friendly, tacit discords. Really looking forward to XY and G on PTSD, seeing Rinasciat and wondering why their families all died while there's a party at the next door. Satan said this on the podcast when we spoke about it. A lot of people forgot about 1.0 and that specific Gion quest where that was legitimately a war, right? Judging a region off of a 20 to 30 second teaser just because one area seems happy-go-lucky and you see balloons and it's not dull and dark is very, very misinformation based. And also, the game will be boring if it is simply just everyone is dying, there's a war going on, go fight this enemy, and that's it. There needs to be some depth to the storytelling. So while someone say, well, Ethan, corrupt politics is not very, that's not the most in-depth story, it's better than just a basic repeat of 1.0. Therefore, I think this person didn't pay attention to the trailer and was like, there's powerful families with money and all these other things. So I understand maybe you might not like the look of it, although we don't really know the full look of the region yet. But I find more intrigue in the fact that the place looks happy and you go in there and you feel like there's some really dark, heavy, horrendous things happening. They can deliver on what Penacony could not deliver on, you know? Also, a lot of people, including myself, complained about base WUWA's map, how it looked horrible because it did not feel like a full video game. It was very dark, it was very monotone. There was really nothing going on in the world, and people wanted not more saturation, but just for it to feel more lively. They're literally delivering on that point. They can't get it right. It's either it's too dark or it's too light, you know what I'm saying? Gacha games don't know how to design endgame. This is 100% correct, off rip. This whole thing of making more stages with enemies with more HP is not the way to go. Doesn't make it better all of a sudden. Also, releasing characters and leaving them as they are seems problematic. That's the easier route of power creeping older units because they don't have a chance to balance properly while the new ones are unbalanced. Character balancing would make people try different options and not stay playing the same 2 or 3 teams or ditch the old rushy toy to play with the new shiny one, plus alleviate the power creep issue. So this is a two-parter. So creating characters and leaving them behind and making a one-to-one upgrade to them, right? Let's look at, let's say, Arlecchino and potentially Maviqua, right? Maviqua, whatever her name is. Yeah, that is because it's a gacha game and that's how they're going to make money, right? Could they not do a one-to-one upgrade and then, let's say, do something like this? Instead of them making another Pyro DPS, technically speaking, they both have their own use and can be used in the meta and have different playstyles. But realistically, a lot of people like power creep, despite what they want to say. So they drop a Pyro DPS, single target, and it winds up being better, and then they make more money because they hype it up more because, like, oh my god, that's bigger damage numbers. You don't even really need those damage numbers because the endgames are probably normally easy. So a lot of the time, they will skip this one and just go straight to this. They'll go straight into that. So in terms of the character design, I definitely agree that, like, the character designs feel pretty shitty. Or they could make a support that brings this character back up. Star Rail's been doing a pretty good job in terms of resurrecting some characters, but also their power creep is pretty out of hand. So WUWA and ZZZ HSR have good endgame, but yeah, all the endgames do feel pretty lousy. They do feel pretty lousy for sure, like without a doubt. I ain't even gonna argue that. I think that's pretty fair. I think ZZZ's done a great job so far with, like, the new Endless Tower mode. Like, at least you have something to do. These endgames are rough. So this guy's cooking. He's cooking. 1, DPS characters are the best characters in the game. They carry your account, whereas having only Shorekeeper on your account isn't going to do shit. And 2, the game isn't Genshin Impact. Healers with buffing capabilities aren't must pulls. They don't provide more damage compared to a build DPS. He's wrong. He is mathematically wrong. Like, he's actually wrong. He's wrong mathematically. Trust me, I got a degree. I went to college for 3 days in my life. He's fucking wrong. For example, Yinlin's Shorekeeper for buffing Zhang Liao, so Yinlin is ironically better than Shorekeeper. Why not use them both? Oh my god. Are you saying in a game where there's a party of 3, I could use my Yinlin and my Shorekeeper? No. Fucking idiot. Gigi over Rinasciat for Jinxie, so Gigi's better than another healer. Same goes for Mort and Sanhua. All right, so he's just objectively wrong. Verena and Shorekeeper's outro Shorekeeper's fucking burst straight up gives you crit damage on top of running a sub DPS. So it's the second part of the point that makes no sense. If you're saying they're not a must pull because you have no DPSs, I kind of get that, but also I don't necessarily agree because you can get Havoc Rover, Verena, and Encore at the beginning of the game, as opposed to, like, struggling with just Verena and Baiji later on if you continue to play the game. Shorekeeper would probably be priority. Xion being the 4th best character in the game does not mean he's mid or bad. He destroys content would continue to unless the 2.0 power creep is substantial, in which case every single character below him falls off even harder. But hey, let's just call Xion bad and Cheng Li the GOAT, even though she has to play on field. I mean, he's not wrong about Xion. Xion is not a bad unit. I truly think Shorekeeper is like the only must pull. Like, obviously Jinxie's great, obviously Camilla's great, but like Shorekeeper is just fucking universal with Verena, right? I think this guy, I think he burned. Oh my god, there's 8 replies to this. What is this? Having more accessible 5-star weapons with trash 4-star is worse than having less accessible 5-star with broken 4-stars, because in the second case, I cannot pull for weapons at all and not feel like shit using for extremely inferior ones. Oh, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm gonna keep it a stack, man. I think the weapon banner in WUWA is amazing because it is guaranteed, but we do need some better 4-stars. I mean, they've been making ones that are definitely better, but, you know, let's see what the things say. Bad argument with 5-star weapons are guaranteed. So here's the thing, though. You, as a free-to-play player, how much asteroid are they getting to get both the character and the guaranteed 5-star? Before this one, the only good sword was Commando of Conviction. The ones that are crit rate are locked to the battle pass, so that one's kind of rough as well. I do think that WUWA is very free-to-play friendly and very giving, but at the same time, is it giving to the point where you can get all of those? I don't know. So if we're looking at 4-star weapons real quick that are free-to-play, like Overture is not really great for DPS. Commando of Conviction is good. I don't play this game free-to-play, so I don't know if they provide you enough pulls to counter the fact that the battle pass weapons you have to pay for, the ones that have crit rate. Now, granted, you could say, though, you could just roll for the standard banner weapons because these weapons are not bad. I understand their point, and I do think that Genshin, while the weapon banner does suck, the 4-stars are better, but also Genshin's been around for a longer time. I think it's just growing pains. With time, as new things come out, we will get better 4-stars. I get it. I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm not going to really go through them actually arguing. I don't care enough about that. We already have enough to go through. So let's go through this. FGO should EOS. True. True. All right. RNG gear is the worst thing to happen in the genre, especially if there are no safety nets like the ability to reroll all or even specific substats. HSR added this, or transfer substats. The game does it the best is probably Outer Plane with their precision crafting as well. Next would probably be energy refills. Okay, so wait, hold on. They're having multiple points here. I don't think this will ever change. I just don't think this will ever change. I don't think there will ever be a time any of the big gachas, Outer Planes. What is this? I don't even know what this is. Oh, is this the one that was made by the E7 devs? Wasn't this made by the E7 devs, or am I wrong? Yeah, I think this was made by the same people who did E7, right? I'm gonna give a hot take right now, and I don't mean this in like a rude way, because I actually really liked E7. Do you consider games like this any more good gacha games? I think games like this, I don't think these are good examples. But I think there's a reason those games never blow up. They're just not in the new era of gacha games. I think Black Beacon looks amazing. That game will never hit, not even talking the heights of fucking Genshin, the heights of ZZZ, the heights of WUWA. Like, it just, the genre has shifted its focus. Using a game like this, Outer Plane, even it's a little bit more on the newer side, for these big AAA gacha games, I just think it's a parallel. It's like, it's not a one-to-one. Like, they're in two different subcategories, you know? My hot take on Wuthering Waves. I think WUWA's mid. One, I started playing because of Calcharo, but he's not in the story. It's like, let's add Dialuk and delete his story from the game, but he's still going to be playable. I got him all limited time swords. I can't even know more about him. That just made me mad. It seems like a personal problem. I don't think WUWA's mid. It seems like this person is just mad because Calcharo's buns, bro. 2, there is no challenge in exploring the map. Oh, this is Ebo. Oh my God, this is my chatter Ebo. Is Ebo in chat? Ebo, low-key, this is Bun's take, brother. Is my man here? He is not here. Oh, Ebo. Oh, Ebo. Why? Why, Ebo? There's no challenge in exploring the map. Some of you are going to tell me that it's harder to fighting challenge in WUWA, and that's true, I'm agreeing, but I'm missing the depth where you could find cave NPC. I agree with this. This I agree with, for sure. I do think the map does feel very empty compared to Genshin's. Genshin's, there's always an NPC around. You could find some little cool things. I mean, Genshin doesn't have dungeons or anything like that. I do think, like, the exploration is not that great. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I really am. The mechanics of it, I think, are very smooth, but I think that the overworld is 100% lacking. That's all. I still think that that's a great game with better gacha mechanics, but what's the worst? With the worst relic system, even HSR is better. You need 4-piece, 2-piece relics. I do think they could change the relic system in WUWA. I really stand by that, man. I think if they change it, it cuts down significantly on probably player time and farming to letting you to get an off piece. Forget even just the XP alone, but off pieces and stuff. So I don't think it'll ever change, but I would like to see that. Your first take was valid, but your other 2 takes are delusional as fuck. Leave my man Ebo alone. The YouTube side was not too bad at all. Let's see what these motherfuckers in here are saying. Expert tag exists only to please diehard fandom of that unit. It's the biggest cop-out Prydwen ever implemented in their tier list to not argue with dipshits that play the same unit for 6 months. Yo, this man Arvin, son. This man Arvin, bro. So are you talking about like expert tag? Like, let's say Calcharo? Like, if I pull up the Prydwen expert, like if I pull up Prydwen real quick, right? I don't think an expert tag is horrible. I actually don't mind it. Like, what's wrong with having her with an expert tag? If you can use Encore and Sanhua properly, she's a very great unit. I think it's a very different game than Genshin in the sense where, like, for example, someone like Alhaitham is like fucking A tier. But if you're really good with Alhaitham, he could be fucking S+. It's very different. This game is more mechanically input heavy and strategy wise, right? If you use it to the proper maximum, efficiency, can be as good as a Gion mathematically. How often is that going to happen? Not often at all. And I think tier lists are made for casuals. So I actually think the expert tag is not a bad thing. Or Calcharo, right? So if someone looks at this tier list and they're new, like I see experts like, okay, if I'm good and if I want a challenge, Donjon should have expert tag as well, but should be in hybrid. Encore could be better. So I really don't. I think the only people who really complain, I think, are Calcharo mains. I've never seen anyone complain. Any other mains complain like Calcharo mains, There's no standards of expert tag. Okay, so they should add qualifications. If there is no standards, let's see. Expert. Characters targeted. Tag with expert tag can be considered one placement higher, but you need to master the advanced harder play style. Well, I mean, what more do you want them to say, though? Same with Gion. You could have 2 Liberations Min, or you can do 3 Liberations Min. There's a big discrepancy. There's such a big discrepancy. The reason why I think Gion does not have an expert tag is because overall, Gion is more universally easy to use. I think someone like Zhang Liao, Gion, whoever else you want to think of, they're a lot easier to use compared to Encore. Encore is honestly very hard to use if you're not good with her, or Chixia, or Donjin, or Calcharo. Like, those people, I think, I don't know why she doesn't have an expert tag. I think, so, I don't know what more they could actually put there. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you were playing casually, you shouldn't be looking at a tier list in the first place. No, I don't agree with that take, because people go to tier lists just to get a general idea of what's happening. Like, you never played a COD game growing up, or like looking at a tier list of guns or some shit, or like whatever the case may be. Half of the units on this tier list need expert tag. I think maybe you could say a couple more need them. I think maybe Donjin. I think Calcharo, Chixia. I think Prydwen is onto something, but their execution is pretty bad. I'm not gonna defend Prydwen. They're all great people. The people at Prydwen are not bad people by any stretch of the imagination, but I do not agree with a lot of their takes, a lot of their calculations, all that stuff. But I think the expert tag itself is not bad. The execution of the expert tag is probably a little weird. I understand what you're saying, but I really think that only pertains to Calcharo mains. I've never once seen an Encore main be weird on the internet, but I see Calcharo mains complain all the time. But what if you're an expert on Gion? Well, Born, if you're an expert on Gion, then he's even better, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but actually, Ethan, if you're an expert with Gion, do you think Gion should be under there? Yo, shut the fuck. No, man, I'm fuck with you. I think overall tier listing WUWA is very hard. I think there's way too many multi-roles, there's way too many amplifications, there's way too many things for it to be straightforward. So Kuro Games took too long time with giving console release to Wuthering Waves. Honkai Star Rail was released in April 2023 to PC and mobile, but we got PS5 6 months later at October. Missed, and I think, but console's release takes more than 6 months. I like Jork. Jork, I don't know if you're in chat. Jork just wants to play the game. Coco Dio with a hot take, though. This is a hot take. Nuclear garbage take. Nothing new from you. People who glaze Fontaine's story have not played a rich single-player video game. How do you feel about that? Do you think the Fontaine story is bad? Do you think it's good? Do you think people only like it if they haven't played other good video games? Here's the thing. I think a lot of gacha players don't play other video games. And I don't think I don't think a lot of them watch anime. I don't think they watch cinema, like Godfather, Scarface. But I think when people see a thing like, you know, anything in Genshin, anything in WUWA, Penacony, they think this is peak. And this is the greatest thing ever, because they're not aware. They're not well versed in other forums of media. With that being said, I think Fontaine is the only storyline out of the big Hoyo games that could actually be turned into an anime or a functioning piece of media and be successful. PGR might have different mechanisms, but it's undoubtedly a really good gacha game with really good story, with one of the best character designs in gacha games. I don't like self-insert video games, so it's already a miss for me. I also don't like the color system of like mix matching the colors and shit. Like it's just not for me, man. That I consider gacha games like free games. Sure, you get to play the game for free, but there is a catch. It's using your money to get higher quality items, a game that makes it better for the player. Sure, some paid games do like Battlefront 2, but since was changed before the second half of the lifespan, I like to say it has some negatives. Fortnite free, but to pay for things that are unnecessary. I don't hate all free games. Some are great. I only pay the games I spend my hard money on. Yeah, man. I mean, gacha games are not for everybody, brother. Unless you want to go through the struggle of being a free-to-play person and just go through the struggle and not spend money, gacha games are for you. If you want your time to be respected and not feel like you're working a second job, don't play gacha games. It's just not worth it. It's really not. Sarah, Honkai Star Rail is a top 5 turn-based JRPG. Sarah. I don't know about that one. This is the first turn-based game that I've actually liked and have been invested into, well, the gameplay-wise at least. But a top 5 turn-based RPG. Oh, Sarah, they're gonna yell at you in the comments, my friend. How much of gacha games is actually good development versus sunken cost fallacy? Is live service truly a good model for gacha? Look at a game like HoloCure. The game is arguably a better gacha game than most gacha games. Why not do something similar? I don't know what HoloCure is, but I will say this. Live service, I think, has genuinely fucking killed killed gaming. Has there ever been a gacha game where you can grind it infinitely or pay money faster for progress? Is it not successful to do this? Probably not. The monetization of a game shouldn't be the meta part of the game. Free-to-play challenge runs. It deletes the possibility of fair balance PvP. It makes it so everyone is on edge for trying to grind for currencies. I'm gonna give you a hot take about gacha PvP. I think it is very doable. I just think no developer wants to put in the work to make a gacha PvP work. What I mean by that is it's very simple. And I genuinely don't know why nobody does this. You have your normal, fuck you, Sass. You can endlessly do a Genshin exploration. Fuck you. You could have your normal, TOF had PvP, yes. And so we're gonna get to that in a second. Let's use TOF, right? TOF had a battle royale, which was actually fun. It really was. The battle royale was very fun. And you don't pay to win in that, right? But there can be free to play versions of PvP. And then there is your pay to win PvP, right? And so if you can just separate the two and have both, or even if you don't want to have the pay to win one because you think people are going to get depressed about it, whatever. I don't know why we don't have more free to play options. Like, why Star Rail can easily create a mode saying here are 8 characters, you and your opponent get to choose from this roster, blanket relics, blanket light cones, no constellations, fucking go at it. Why will they not do it? Because they think their audience is filled with a bunch of fucking idiots and who's going to get very upset and depressed that they lost a PvP match, right? And so I think that gacha PvP is 100% doable. I just think no one would really fucking no one wants to do it. I don't know why. I really don't. But I would love for there to be PvP in gacha games. So the PvP, obviously, again, I guess it can be ruined by like whales and stuff, but like E7's PvP is pretty rough. Monetization is both fun and toxic at the same time. It's like a sneaky ploy for them to see how much they can give us before they drop our wallets. Look at Genshin. I think Genshin is very, very predatory. It's probably the most predatory gacha game out right now. Why make the game mode if the community already made one themselves? HSR? Because you're not actually fighting someone, Arlie. I would love to actually fight for other people's fucking Honkai Star Rail characters. It's just copy Epic 7's functions. Make it a 4v4. That'd be fucking sick. In WUWA, put me in a fucking chamber, lock me in with some random fucking dude on my server. We have blanket stats, nothing crazy, and let's fucking duke it out. Like, I don't think it's hard. I just don't think no one will do it because probably people are just gonna complain, and so it'll be a nuisance, right? So two Donja mains in a room, they might both fucking accidentally kill themselves by accident in Roblox, of course, because they can't manage their forte. So yeah, I think it's pretty One Jinsei Nuke, banner system and FOMO are inherently bad designs for long-term game development because they ask for too much from players and rely heavily on hype waves. Honkai Star Rail has done this tremendously. Rappa, POWERCREEP, Firefly. Rappa is better than Firefly. Firefly came out 3 to 4 patches before. That is fucking insane. Acheron is not that great. Acheron is going to get even more POWERCREEPed as time goes on. She had her time to shine for 3 months. And then Firefly came out and so on and so forth. So it's pretty rough. Was it really a whale fest because Dupe was nothing? RNG from when it was winning. I'm gonna start PvP at 100 to be whale territory. Aaron, you can get around that though. It's very simple. Give everyone the same characters, or excuse me, give everyone the same gear. Give everyone give them a roster of fucking 16 people. All basic stuff. Nothing crazy. Go skill, and then you could do another game mode where it's based on actual things. I get that these systems incentivize positive things like competition between gacha games and updates that have to grab your attention or they lose developers' money, but at what cost? I want a game that I could actually move on at some point from. How much money and time does a developer need to finish their damn game? Gacha games shouldn't inherently mean that the game is always unfinished. Well, that's a live service thing. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna keep it a stack murder. That you will never get that from a gacha game. A gacha game is supposed to never finish, or they're supposed to have extremely long cycles in order for. No, Emmy has a C6 Acheron. Her C6 Acheron will always be fine, but like C0 Acherons with Lycone or without Lycone, that's gonna struggle. But gacha games are not supposed to have an EOS unless they're going out of business. Gacha games are always supposed to reinvent themselves, make new things, make money, make new stories. Honkai Impact 3 has an ending. It doesn't. It had an ending for like a year, and then they made part 2. Encore is trash. No one should play her. I don't care about how good the DPS is on paper. If a character makes me want to quit playing the game, it's a bad character. Encore does not make me want to play the game. And tons of people agree with me. It's crazy. My man said, I hate fucking Encore. So we just had the conversation about Encore. Clearly, you have to go to Prydwen and see if they have an expert tag, Murder. That is your problem. You need to get an expert tag, brother. We're going to get you an expert tag. We're going to get you a live tutorial. I'm going to PM St. Tonus and give him $500 so he can teach you how to play Encore. Holy shit. Min-maxing is not relevant in games with resources. There's window-specific DPS you have to reach in order to clear content and gacha, and that is what's important. Min-maxing is inherently flawed in these games because it neglects resource management in favor of big numbers. If the big number costs you have your resources, it is not worth it. You have to balance min-maxing to reach specific ranges. You can clear content, you want to still have resources left. I cannot tell you how many times I've been told that my echoes are trash, even though, yeah, no, I agree with you. I tell this to people all the time. We did Lily's account earlier. She's like, what do you think I should work on? I said nothing, because your account can clear the content fast enough, efficiently enough, to the point where you should not either build a random obscure character, or if you had, that is a very good take. I agree with that take 100%. Or out of your 5 echoes, if you have 1 echo that is lacking a little bit, but their crit rate, crit damage, and attack split and ER is more than enough, it is a waste to just farm a Havoc echo over and over and over again, you know, when you could just be saving your resources. So I agree with you 100%. I think without a doubt that is a very good take. Min-maxing is very bad. You know, at a certain point, you gotta have to have good stats, but there becomes a point of diminishing returns where it is a waste of time. There should be more content about resource min-maxing rather than stat maxing. Resources matter much more. They've kind of implemented this. They kind of implemented this right now, so I'm gonna say. So I think this is kind of fine. All right, maybe a hot take. You really don't need NATLAN characters to explore NATLAN. From personal experience, I've done completely fine without using a NATLAN character or a Saurian. Generally might not enjoy exploring NATLAN, but blaming that on a NATLAN character is the dumbest thing. Yes, the Saurians could be a bit clunky or weird, but you really don't need it. You're supposed to take your time and enjoy it. If you want to just rush and get it over with, it might not be for you. The mountains and valleys add depth to the land. If it all felt flat, it'd be boring because there's simply no contrast. And pulling them simply for the exploration is not the wave, because their exploration mechanics is not the entire point of their kit. It's only a small bit. So I understand what he is saying, and apparently the dragon is good, so I have to test it out. I'm not going to sit here and contest this first part because I haven't used the dragon yet, right? So the dragon's supposed to be good in the new area. I highly disagree with the fact that the exploration is only a part of their kit. I actually think the exploration is one of the main selling points of their kit. Shalonen, one of the reason why Shalonen is so good is because she can run up walls. We have never had that before. Why will Mavica be great? She could probably ride the motorcycle. Why is Shaska so good? Because she could fucking fly. Like, so I don't necessarily agree with that take. The other stuff, again, I can't speak on yet. I personally have not enjoyed it. I did not like it at all. But to say it's only a small bit, I think we're giving them a little too much credit. I don't believe that. So far, they've all had their own type of mechanic, adding more variation to the game. Exploration isn't supposed to be quick, isn't supposed to be a couple days and done. It's supposed to be long, fun, and relaxing, but maybe this is just me. I love you, Bread. I don't know if you're still here. I don't 100% agree. My problem with NATLAN is this. These characters are being sold to, what St. Tonus said, solve the problem in NATLAN. Once they are out of NATLAN, their kits for exploration are fucking trash. And even in NATLAN, they're really not that great anyways. But also, once Snezhnaya comes around, what is the point of me doing anything other than the Archon quest in Genshin for NATLAN? Because everything's going to be fucking rendered useless and irrelevant once Snezhnaya comes out. So I think that it is just overall their power creep and the way they're designing these kits to only synergize with people from NATLAN, to only work with certain things, is making the game feel less fun and giving me less of incentive to not only play, but to pull. Because Mavica will probably be dog shit in 7 months. Shalonen is probably going to be... Shalonen and maybe Mavica might be the only universal characters. Everyone else is just going to be fucking obsolete. It's ironic to defend the big 4 gacha stories. You need to go and watch a good TV show. Go watch The Sopranos! Go watch The Sopranos! It's the fucking greatest TV show of all time. Woke up this morning. Got yourself a gun. I'm always told to be the chosen one. Woke up this morning. Fucking greatest show of all time. Great show of all time. Go watch The Sopranos. Why you bully my multi-million-dollar company? Because they suck. I genuinely think that of all the big gacha games, Genshin has handled its power creep the best, especially in comparison to Stario. Older characters may not be unit with the highest output of damage, but they never feel too obsolete or downright unusable in harder content. There's always new iteration of characters to make them viable in some way or improve. I actually genuinely disagree with this. Shallonen Farina. Farina makes a lot of people usable. Shallonen really only makes certain units usable. Like Nouvelette is already strong. Nouvelette is now just even stronger. Shanyun makes Hu Tao good. Farina makes Hu Tao possibly good. But we just did an Abyss earlier today. We weren't getting the clear. We're using double hyper. We're using Hyper Bloom, and we're using Hu Tao. If we had Arlecchino or Nouvelette done, Chaska, it would have been done instantaneously. I do think Genshin has handled power creep way better than Star Rail. Maybe I don't disagree in the sense that Genshin has handled it the best, because realistically, all we can compare it to is Star Rail. Power creep in WUWA, it's too soon to tell. ZZZ is too soon to tell. So I think out of Genshin and Star Rail, Genshin has definitely handled it the best, but we are getting to the point where a lot of these older units are feeling outdated. But you could say that for every nation. I just disagree with the fact that NATLAN feels horrible to explore without NATLAN characters. It still feels fun to me, and I don't even use NATLAN characters for exploration outside of NATLAN. Like every other character is stronger with an exploration mechanic add to them. I think we'll agree to disagree. I think if you enjoy it, I love that for you, but I definitely agree to disagree with you. I didn't have fun with it. I understand tying exploration to kits to make money. I understand that, and I actually think it's a very simple fix as well. I think allow the consumer to either have a consumable Philosophen, Flogen, whatever the fuck it's called, or make Philosophen, have a consumable, make it outside of NATLAN. If you're gonna sell me the kit, right? If you're gonna sell me the kit and you're gonna limit it in both regions, but if you're gonna not give me consumable Philosophen, Flogen, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in NATLAN, it still feels shitty to me. And it feels even worse outside of there. How do you fix it? Give me fucking Philosophen, give me Flogen, whatever. Give me something. You're a $5 billion company. Fucking negotiate. There is no reason why this game is fucking ass. $5 billion off of Genshin Impact alone. Fucking give me something. Please. 4 years to get rid of a Fate Point. I just can't. I can't defend it. They literally are anti-consumer. They have done nothing to make your life easier universally. Everything has always a circumstance. It's never just have this. Have this thing, it's fun, it's great, and go fucking use it. It's never that. It is have this thing here for an extended amount of duration, and then you're shit out of luck, and then when you go everywhere else, it still feels like ass. I enjoyed Letario. I think it was a good time. We'll do a part 2 video. I think overall good conversation.